Today, we're reacting to Week 2 of the NFL season. The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Welcome back to the show. Folks, it is the end of Week 2. There are so many takeaways we've had. We hope you guys are having a great weekend and a great day as well. Metro and I, that's my lovely co-host here today. We're going through every single game of Week 2 and giving you our thoughts, our reactions, and our takeaways from this awesome NFL battle. Metro, how are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, Week 1 was just the appetizer. Week 2 felt like we got the full entree. I mean, we had some really good games here. A couple blowouts, but even the blowouts had some storylines to talk about. We had a Game of the Year contender, which we'll talk about here in a minute. We had one last week as well, but this week might have been the offensive Game of the Year. And we have some great games in the 3 o'clock slate too. So with that said, I think we start off with our Thursday Night Football matchup where the Green Bay Packers put belt to ass on the Commanders.
Great way to start this excellent matchup that you just mentioned. As Metro said, the Commanders go on the road to Green Bay at Lambeau Field, and they lose this game 27-18. Throughout the beginning, Green Bay just looked like the superior team. They inched away with the victory over time. They dropped, I believe, let's look at 10 points here in the fourth quarter to secure this victory, but they were consistent the entire way through. Defense was a problem, terrorizing Jaden Daniels. He still had a good day, of course, but it was a different kind of defense than he was usually used to. Overall, Metro, I saw 2 playoff teams going to war, and just one had more talent overall. That's a simple way to put a really complicated game like this in the game of football, but that's how I took it away. There's more talent here in Green Bay, and they had the home field advantage. But what did you see on this Thursday night matchup?
Yeah, well, for starters, Green Bay and their all-white uniforms are a thing of beauty. They are just a beautiful uniform, and I love it when Lambeau goes white out. That was an awesome environment. It was an awesome game. With that said, this Packers team is pretty damn good. I mean, they have now put belt to ass to 2 really good teams. This game, final score 27-18. I don't think it does it justice for just how dominant the Packers were in this game. They were up 17-3 heading into the fourth quarter. Washington scores a couple late drives. They get something going a little bit late, but it was far too late. Green Bay ends up winning the game here. Total yardage-wise, I mean, Green Bay 404 total yards. Washington 230 total yards. It was a game where, I mean, they said it in the broadcast. Green Bay was just able to sit back in zone. Blitz 4, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, all those guys got home pretty consistently. They sacked him 4 times. Could have been a lot more if Jaden Daniels was not a freaky athlete that can get out of plays, but they did a really good job. Even, when they're in zone, they have all eyes looking back at Jaden Daniels. When you're playing that man coverage, it allows a rushing quarterback to have easy lanes because guys are chasing, guys are focused on their man coverage. When they're in zone, all eyes are all on Jaden Daniels. And if you can get home with 4 or 5, man, it's really easy to win. And on the day, they could not run the football effectively. Shout out Austin Eckler, tore his Achilles. I hope this is not the end for his career because he's getting up there in age, but we'll see about him. They're going to be relying a lot on Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, a.k.a. Bill. We'll see if he can get going. Did not play good in this one. All in all, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of teams have a similar approach with Washington moving forward. Sticking back in zone coverage, blitzing 4, seeing if they can get home, corralling on Jaden Daniels, stuffing the run, and that can make life a little bit more difficult for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. So all in all, a big game here for Green Bay. Good victory. They're 2-0. They look legit. As for Washington, don't sound the panic alarm yet, but looks like a game plan might be out for Jaden.
Question for you, Metro, because I think you broke that down perfectly. I have nothing else to say on this game. If these teams replayed in the playoffs, which is very likely here in the NFC, do you see any kind of chance the Commanders winning this from your observations during this game, or are you feeling like Green Bay has the game plan in the bag, they know how to handle this, and they handled it beautifully in Week 2?
Yeah, well, I mean, if the 2 teams both stay healthy, if they get through the season playing like they are now, I think the Packers will cruise to another victory. Of course, we have 16 more weeks, so injuries will happen, game plans will change. You'll have highs, you'll have lows. The Packers will lose a game, and everyone's going to freak out and call them washed. Like, that's just going to happen. So, as of today, I look at the Packers, and I don't want to make this hot take because I know it's an overreaction. But through 2 weeks, I would say the Packers have been the most impressive team in the entirety of the NFC specifically. Because, yes, the Eagles have won 2 really good games, Chiefs, Cowboys, but they haven't looked great in those games. Packers have looked great, and they've beat up on 2 very good teams. So in the NFC, the Packers look like the best team so far, but we got a lot of football still to play.
Totally fair take right there. You ready to go to Sunday's matchups? That Thursday night was fantastic, but we had a lot of great games here today. You ready to go forward?
Yes, let's keep going.
Let's go straight into Jacksonville Jaguars going on the road to the Cincinnati Bengals. This was a nail-biter. The Bengals won 31-27, and boys, it was and girls, a mess all day long. We had a combined 5 turnovers in this matchup, 9 penalties for over 100 yards. Joe Burrow actually went down during this game. He's going to be out for about 3 months, is the rumor as of today. Hopefully, for a speedy recovery there. 3 months. Yeah, did you see that today?
Oh my gosh, I thought it was 4 to 5 weeks. Oh no,
no, that's what. So I mentioned before the show, he mentioned that he stubbed his toe, and I made a joke to him personally. I was like, "So you're out for 3 months?" But like, obviously, Joe has like a serious thing. Hope he gets better. But yeah, 3 months, dude. 3 months. Insane.
Their season's over. It's done.
You don't tell him
it's
that.
Done. I'm sorry. Can I tell you? So I just did my reaction on my channel too, and I thought he was going to be out for maximum 5 weeks. And I said, okay, well, the next 5 weeks, you're going to lose 5 straight games because you have the Vikings, the Broncos, the Lions, the Packers, the Steelers. But I was like,
really?
Well, yeah, it's bad. But I was like, okay, October 26th, Burrow comes back. You play the Jets. You play the Bears. You play the Steelers. You play the Patriots. You get back to 500. Then you just try and win a couple games down the stretch. 3 months, you're not coming back till, what are we at? September 14th. What would that be? September, October,
Christmas.
December?
Yeah.
By that point, there's 5 games left in the year. Jake Browning, okay, specifically with this game, Browning played fine. All right, he played fine. He got 3 picks, though. Against the Jaguars defense, that's not very good.
No.
Let's be like, this is for starters, specifically the stand this week right now. Shout out to the Bengals. You get a win. You should not have won this game, but you somehow managed to do it. You get the W. Jamar Chase went off. Jacksonville, what the? How does this happen, dude? You had your full starting lineup, and you had Jake Browning in there who throws 3 picks, and you still lose. By the way, side note, I have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow on my fantasy team.
Yeah, good luck.
My season might be done.
Get in. No, you're good. Just get Indiana Jones off the waivers and move forward. You'll be good.
You're 100% right. He's still available. I might need to go pick him up. I'm screwed, though.
But what you said, too, how did the Jaguars lose this? As we mentioned, Browning rolls up and high. He's like, oh, here I come. I'm ready to take over for this team. 3 picks, just gift wrapping them the win. T-Law returns 2 of those picks back in his direction. But also, more importantly, the Jaguars ran the ball extremely well, 139 rushing yards, opposed to the Bengals' 48 yards. So, like you said, it was literally Jamar Chase moving the ball for 14 receptions and a touchdown, and that was it. How they lost this game, I will be damned. I see 1 4th down. They went 0 for 1 on. Don't know what time that was during the game, but it had to matter for sure if you're going for it on 4th. Needless to say, it's a game you have to win if you're the Jaguars, and we also felt that way for the Bengals, but now that the Bengals don't have Joe Burrow, kind of on ice. You got to take this one home for the Jaguars, especially with a quarterback like T-Law that's supposed to be your future and your franchise.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question. All right.
Hit me.
So when I was doing my live stream and Burrow goes down, I didn't know the timeline or anything like that. But I suggested the idea that if there was ever a team or a season for a team that needed to go as horribly as possible, it would be this year for the Bengals because they have limited money, terrible assets on the defensive end. If this team ends up with a top 5 pick, do you want to know what player is going to be a Cincinnati Bengal? Mr. Ohio State / Alabama himself, Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs will be wearing a Cincy uniform. So, for all the bad that is coming from this Burrow injury, it could be okay. Jake Browning is good enough to win a few games, but he's not going to beat any good team, right? He's going to lose to those teams. When it comes to Jacksonville, I'm sorry, we've been off topic here a lot for Cincinnati, but when it comes to Jacksonville, Brian Thomas Jr. has got to get going. It's not his fault. He's open. Trevor Lawrence just isn't, he's not connecting with him. And, maybe it's just one of those things where he doesn't have the chemistry with him. But Brian Thomas Jr. through 2 games, only, 5 catches on the season. That's just can't happen. You look at guys like Malik Neighbors, now in his 2nd season, and he has 14 catches for almost 200 yards or something like that. Like, Brian Thomas Jr. should be in that same category, and you haven't got him going. Travis Etienne has been awesome for this team. He's been really good. And Bashal Tutin, both of our guys who we loved in college, he got some nice runs here. Their leading receiver was Parker Washington and Diami Brown. Like, we have Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter playing, and their leading receiver is Parker Washington. You know, shout out to Parker, but that just shouldn't be the case. I mean, this is bad.
Good shit, Parker. But yeah,
I know.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. This is just a cold take. Jaguar fans, please take it with a grain of salt. I think BTJ had a year that may be one of his best years ever. I think he's an awesome wide receiver. But I think guys like Jamar Chase and Malik are just a notch up, personally. But that doesn't mean you give him 5 catches in 2 weeks. So we're right there.
What was weird about Brian Thomas's season last year was a lot of his production came from Mac Jones, came from guys not named Trevor Lawrence, which is weird, right? You'd think that when you would have a better quarterback, you'd have a better chance of getting more, but he was actually more productive when Trevor was off the field. So they got to get something fixed there, or, I don't know. They got to get that fixed because he needs to be that wide receiver one that helps this team. He needs to become that safety blanket, that go-to guy, and so far it hasn't been the case. But yeah, bad loss for Jacksonville. This is a division that they're in that is very open. Indianapolis looks right now like the favorite, ironically enough, but Houston is going to be really good. They have a great defense. But, you're right there as that third team right in the mix, and if you win this game, you're 2-0. You're starting the season off on fire with 2 wins versus, not very good teams, but you start off 2-0, and you drop the ball with this one. You should have won this game. You're playing Jake Browning and a bad Bengals defense, and you don't get the job done. So this was a disappointing performance for them. And, for the Bengals, we went on the side tangent there, but their season, for all intents and purposes, if Burrow's gone, it's done. You better hope they get a second opinion on Burrow and he's fine and he can come back soon. But with that injury for 3 months, they're done for. You just wrap it up, call it a season, get ready for the 2026 draft.
Yeah, I'm there with you, man. Honestly, if I'm a Bengals fan, happy's not the word. Wrong word, Cade. But I understand that there'll be things to come in 2026 that I'll be happy about. This team's not winning a Super Bowl. We know that shit, right? But maybe with some better defensive players that are there for the long term, we can build something going forward. For the Jaguars, this feels like put the team on ice. Let's wait till week 3. What more can we analyze? Because right now, we're not getting a clear picture whatsoever. Or maybe we are, and there's more of this to come. But you ready to move forward to our next game? That was an absolute star-struck battle.
Yep, let's talk Dallas Cowboys versus New York Giants.
Let's get into it. The New York Giants go to Arlington, Texas, and give the Cowboys a scare. 40-37, an overtime win with time expiring in OT. This game was awesome. Russell Wilson had an AC 130 on the bicep this game, 450 passing yards. Dak Prescott also had 361 of his own. Threw the ball 52 times for 2 touchdowns and 1 INT. Russ, 3 touchdowns and 1 INT. Neighbors had a great day. CeeDee Lamb had a great day. Scatterboo looked great. Javonte looked great. This was electric. And might I add, the biggest player of them all, Mr. Aubrey, with the cannon on his leg. I think it was the first time ever in NFL history that going into the end of regulation, he ties the game, and then to win the game in OT was also off the foot of his leg. First time ever in NFL history. This game was awesome. But what did you learn, Metro? You watched this to a T. Nothing else was bothering you. You are a true Cowboys fan. I caught this on Red Zone and actually flipped to this game at some point. But what did you take from this matchup?
So first of all, 0 defense was played in this one, at least not after the second half. We had a total of nearly 1,000 total yards with let me be quick math, 77 total points with, 54 first downs. And a combined 26 penalties. This game was madness. By the way, 4 penalties came from one player on a singular drive. 2 false starts and 2
I saw that.
Like holdings or something
like that.
And
he slapped him upside the head.
Which was hysterical, by the way. Let me give some flowers real quick to the Giants. Russell Wilson, I don't want to confirm these numbers, but this is from StatMuse. I just looked this up now. His career high of passing yards in a singular game is 452 versus the Texans in 2017. This game would be his second highest output, and it would be his highest since, ironically, last year we had 414 versus the Bengals. But look, Russell Wilson proved today that he can still throw it, dude. Like, say whatever you want about his quick game, his intermediate throws, stuff down the middle. This dude has an absolute rainbow arm when it comes to those deep shots, dude. Some of the throws he was making today were insane. And granted, they were open. Cowboys could not even cover Malik Neighbors for 5 seconds for half the play, or not even half a second for most plays. The amount of times that Neighbors or Wandale somehow, some way got past that third layer of coverage is just crazy. It's just simply crazy. Both defensive coordinators should have a long look in the mirror because this was an embarrassing game for both sides. Matt Eberflus was supposed to be this defensive genius, but boy, this week was rough. I want to give some flowers to the Giants real quick. Malik Neighbors, 9 catches, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wandale Robinson, 8 for 142 and a touchdown. Cam Scadaboo, a.k.a. RB1, took the most carries out there, more than Tyrone and Devin Singletary. He had 11 for 45 and a touchdown. Looks like he might be RB1 for the team. Defensively, I thought Paulson Adebo. No, more Drew Phillips. I thought Drew Phillips was really good out there. Kayvon made some plays. Brian Burns made some plays. On the Cowboys side of things, Dak had one terrible interception, but outside of that, I thought he was really good. Javonte, he made an explosive run out there for the touchdown. Dallas has a running game finally. CeeDee Lamb, for all the drops he had in week 1, he made up for it this week. I don't think he had a single drop. He was incredible. Ferguson, Pickens, and listen, I know that Deron Bland's injured. Can we take Kaiir Elam off the fucking field? This dude sucks. He sucks. He's terrible.
Hey, Stray,
I'm sorry.
you won the game.
I'm sorry.
Stray. You won the game, Metro. It's okay.
Well, to be fair, I said the exact same thing in the offseason when we did the Cowboys video. I said, Kaiir Elam fucking sucks. And I'm being consistent, okay? He was terrible this week. There was a play. It was a 10-yard curl. This dude, Kaiir Elam, was 15 yards off the ball because he was so scared of getting burnt deep. He was like, I'm going to play 15 yards off. And it was embarrassing. But
well, did
Cowboys
you watch what happened
win.
in the fourth quarter? Maybe he was onto something.
He probably was. Well, even when he was 15 yards off, he was still getting burnt down the field. This dude's Neighbors is crazy. Of course, the best player of the entire game for the Dallas Cowboys, their kicker, Brandon Aubrey, making a 64-yard field goal to tie it up. This dude is insane. One of the best kickers, in my opinion, in NFL history at this stage. Of course, he still has a long career left to go. He's still young, but great game. It was a fun time. Goes to overtime, and Dak Prescott still owns the New York Giants. Hasn't lost since 2016, 14 in a row. Crazy.
That's pretty ridiculous. This game was fireworks. It reminded me of, because they play here actually, the Big 12 Championship when they were just letting shit fly. Letting it loose in Arlington, AT&T Stadium.
That's Baylor versus
different
TCU.
uniforms. Yeah.
That's Baylor versus TCU, dude. Or Texas Tech, Baylor, Texas Tech, TCU. That was some offensive football. It was great.
It was fun as hell. Everyone complains. They're like, "Oh, there's no defense," but you got to be honest. That shit was
fun.
sick. Like,
Yeah, who cares?
it's kind of fun every once in a while. So this game was great. Cowboys are feeling great. Giants, man, I'll ask this because we talk about it all the time. If you are the ownership of the Giants, if you are Mr. Mara and you're looking at Brian, you got to understand what he just went through. Like, they went toe-to-toe, and if this kicker's not banging them from 70 yards out, you win this game. That's just the truth. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
Do you think he's still in a hot seat at this point, or?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to take a while for him to not be on the hot seat. He didn't do anything egregious or anything like that. His offense was cooking, so I don't think he didn't move up or down. He's still right where he was, but I have a feeling that they will be a bit more patient with him. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they say, no, it's time. So we'll see. I think for now, this was a step in the right direction for the offense. I mean, sort of the polar opposite from last week. Last week, the offense was terrible. The defense got some stops, made some plays. This week, the defense couldn't do anything after the first quarter, but the offense was on fire. It's just one of those things. You got to get both sides in sync. And I was telling people in my live, I was like, dude, this is a good Giants team. This Giants team is good. They are a talented team. So for the Cowboys to go toe-to-toe with them, I wasn't very surprised. I think there's going to be a lot of games in the future where this Giants team takes Detroit or Minnesota or one of these really good teams to the limit. They probably won't win because they don't have the talent, but they have dudes that can absolutely go. So good win for the Cowboys, good game for Russell Wilson, but yeah.
Win-win for both franchises. Let's go to our next game on the docket. It's going to be the Motor City Kitties, the Detroit Lions. They played at home against the Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson revenge game. Ben Johnson goes back to his old team. Lions win 52, my God, to 21. This felt personal. I'm a Lions fan, so I watched. I have no hard feelings. I think he got a great job there in Chicago. But you could tell that Detroit, after getting their ass kicked by the Packers, in combo with this is their old O coordinator who left, and they felt kind of betrayed. They ran up the score at home. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a massive day with a hat trick of 3 touchdowns. Romo Dunze looked fantastic out there at wide receiver. Him and Caleb's connection is just getting better every single week. Caleb, I thought he had a good day. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but overall, he's making strides forward. Goff put up 5 touchdowns on the day, letting it air out in the dome at home. And then, of course, not even on here because I can't see him on the number 1, but Waymo had a crazy day as well. This team was firing on all cylinders, and it was good to see the Lions look more like the Lions. Now, Metro, what was your takeaway from an outsider's perspective? Just got to ask.
Well, takeaway number 1, this dude Isaac Tesla is a highlight reel. An absolute highlight reel. That snag he had was monstrous. This dude is a highlight reel. By the way, Jamison Williams, that you talked about, 2 catches, 108 yards, and a touchdown. He's Sonic, bro. He is wheels for days. Look, for everyone talking crap about Caleb Williams, there's nothing he could have done. If you're going up against a team that's dropping 52 points, you're losing 100 times out of 100. It's just not possible, okay? My biggest takeaway, this Bears defense is trash. They are trash. They are not good. I mean, which is bizarre because just like 2 years ago, we were talking, oh, this Bears team has a great defense. They can rely on defense, and Justin Fields just has to do enough. No, this defense sucks. Without Matt Eberflus, this defense is absolutely nothing. They got embarrassed last week late by the Minnesota Vikings. This week might have been the most embarrassing performance I've seen from a defense, giving up 500 yards. The Bears had 339 on theirs, but it was a no match for it. The game, it felt like it was competitive early on, and then Caleb had that dumb, stupid interception. And once that interception happened, it gave all momentum to Detroit, and it felt like Detroit never looked back, whereas it looked like it took the Bears a while to get that momentum back. So, man, this Bears team, man, it's so talented. There's some pieces here that are good, but I don't know. I don't have an answer for what the issue is with this team from an offensive or defensive perspective. I don't want to point the finger and say, oh, Caleb has to do this, or DeAndre Swift has to do that, or this has to happen or that. But they're not as good as we thought they were. Now me and Cade, we were both a bit pessimistic. We weren't calling them title contenders, but there was a lot of talk about this team being really good and contending for the playoffs. But yeah, that's not going to happen. This Bears team has a lot of work to do. We just got to hope that Ben Johnson gets this offense going, and hopefully by midseason they're better, and hopefully the defense steps up and they go on a stretch late in the season to prove their worth for next year. But this was a good old classic butt whooping, and the Detroit Lions made it personal. They 100% did. They went for it on 4th and goal in the 4th quarter, up 30-plus points. These dudes, they wanted to make a statement. So big win here for the Lions. Big win for Dan Campbell, by the way. Shut up about the Dan Campbell hot seat stuff. That's ridiculous. And
People
Chicago
said
Bears,
hot seat? Kiss my ass. What are you talking about?
well, there's people that were saying that he was a coordinator merchant. He's trash. This, and that. Oh, he's all grit, no bite. It's like, brother, come on.
Do you know how bad Detroit was for so long?
I know. I was like, guys, it's one game. It's one game. The Packers are a good team, man. It's one game. Let's chill out. And they put the beat down in here, and they're going to, all those people that were making those comments, they shut up real quickly. So shout out to Dan Campbell. Shout out to the Lions. No shout out to the Bears. They got to play better.
Moving forward, Lions and Bears. For the Lions and Bears, tough schedule ahead. Next week, the Lions have, I'll tell you in a minute, but the Bears, more importantly, they face 2 teams that, in my eyes, are around their competition level. Teams that are competitive and feisty. Hey,
don't say the Dallas Cowboys. I know you're talking about my team. We're better than them.
All right. Well, it was the Giants, buddy. Okay. Let's calm down.
Cowboys,
Cowboys and the Raiders. This is my opinion. Cowboys and Raiders. I think these teams are both feisty. They both got star power, and more importantly, how good is that defense We will find out because the Cowboys will put it on you, and so will the Raiders if Brock Bowers gets going. I think he's got a brace on now, actually. Brock Bowers along with Genty and that crew. If Raiders and Cowboys get moving on that defense, hey, you take 2 L's there. Maybe this is a longer rebuild than we think. It's not a reset. It's a full-on rebuild from the bottom. And then we go to the Lions real quick. Their future games are going to be... One second. We have the Ravens. Holy hell. That's going to be an L. Just calling it now because we played them before and it doesn't go well. Ravens on the road, and then the Browns and the Bengals. So one nice AFC North team and then 2 worse NFC North teams.
Yeah.
So moving forward, awesome matchups. You ready to go to our next game, which actually was really competitive?
Yes, let's talk about it. Cam Ward and the Titans.
Yeah, man. The Titans have played strong this year. The score doesn't show it, but the Rams played them on the road in Tennessee. Rams win 33-19, but heading into the third, this game was basically tied, if not within one possession all game long.
Yeah, it
Cam
was.
Ward does.
Sorry, it was 13-10. It was 13-10 Tennessee leading at halftime.
There you go. In Tennessee, there was a fumble. Cam Ward did get strip sacked, and there was a turnover, and that pretty much put this game on ice moving forward. But overall, Cam Ward had 175, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. He got sacked 5 times. But if you watched what the hell this guy was doing and that touchdown throw he had, help this man. Help this man, Cam Ward. He is making crazy plays. He clearly has talent and is showing poise as a rookie. Just can this team rally around him over time? Good things to come for the Titans. And they're playing these teams well. The Rams did win. Stafford went 298 for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. He had 33 attempts on the day, only sacked once. Kyron had a good day. Devontae Adams looked fantastic. Puka did Puka things as Metro predicted. I mean, in the end, the Rams prevailed, but the Titans took it toe-to-toe. This is a team that Metro and I, just like being transparent, we had them bottom 4 in the league just because we didn't think the talent could go against teams like this that we feel like are going to be in the playoffs. Metro, do you feel different about the Titans today? Are you like in a top 20 team now with the Titans, or are you still feeling similar how we were in the beginning of the season?
I'm still near the bottom, but they're better than the Browns. They're better. I mean, Carolina showed a little life, but in a Tennessee-Carolina matchup, I might lean Tennessee. Saints have shown life too, but I like Cam Ward's upside, so I'm taking them. The Jets, after their Week 1 game, Week 2 was about as bad as you could have gotten. So I don't know. The Titans, they're moving up my power rankings despite losing games. And I'll kind of bounce back with what you've been saying here. I think this is about as good of a start as I could have imagined for Cam Ward. I know that he's not having these monstrous games or anything like that, but he goes up Week 1 versus what I think is the best defense in the NFL in Denver. Then in Week 2, he goes up against what I think is maybe the best defensive line in the entire NFL in LA. And in both games, the dude's getting mollywopped. He's getting sacked play after play after play. He's getting guys dropping passes. Nobody's really helping him. But he's staying in there. He's fighting. They almost beat Denver last week. It was a close game. And this one, they had the lead at halftime versus a team that I think has, Super Bowl aspirations. So I like what I've seen from this Titans team. My concern moving forward for this team, they've invested so much in this offensive line. I mean, money, draft capital, and this line stinks. It stinks. It's bad. Still is bad. 5 sacks this week. I think it was like 4 or 5 last week. It was bad. Now, some of them are on Cam for holding onto the ball a little bit too long, but it's a young quarterback. You've invested so much. It's been bad on the offensive line. All that said, though, I've been impressed with the defense, just keeping them in games for as long as they can. Offense, it's going to be tough to win games. This is a team that might only win 3 to 4 games this year, but they're being competitive, they're being feisty, and that's all I could ask for from this Titans team. And, the good news is, well, I don't know. You got the Colts, and then you got the Texans and the Cardinals. That's a little tough. But their schedule is, they have some winnable games in the future. So for the Titans fans, I don't think it's worst case scenario here. I think you're pretty thrilled with what you've seen from your quarterback. So shout out to the Titans, man.
Also doing a shout out, Alik. Why am I saying it wrong? I've said it 1,000 times. Io Manor, he played for Stanford. He was a wide receiver. Now he's a rookie here on the Titans. This clearly is working out. 4 receptions, 56 yards, and a touchdown for that 1 reception of the day on the end zone. He's looking good as a start to a rookie. Initially, I thought he'd take some time to get running, but it's good to see the rookie get going as well. Cam Ward can have some kind of young help with Ridley along with him as well. Like you said, Titans got to be feeling good. Rams, just keep winning, baby, because you're going for the playoffs. Anything else before we move forward, sir?
No, I agree with. We didn't really talk much about the Rams there. Rams, good win. That's all I gotta say.
Damn good win. When you should have won, and a damn good win. Moving forward, we have the New England Patriots in divisional matchup going on the road to the Miami Dolphins. Patriots win 33-27. Now, this was an absolute whirlwind of the game. While the Cowboys game was going on against the Giants, the Patriots and the Dolphins were actually going to work as well. 2 kick returns. One was a punt, one was a kick return. Electric game back and forth. Drake May was fantastic. 230 for 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. 1 rushing touchdown as well. And then Tua, I have kind of mixed reviews here, but he was 26 for 32 overall on the stat sheet. 315 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Sacked 5 times. Now, Tyreek Hill had a day. He had 100-plus yards. Waddle had a touchdown. He's finally awoken after a while. He's been playing well, just Tua's finding him the ball again. But overall, 33-27, the Dolphins did lose. Metro, if you were actually watching this game, not saying you weren't, but if you were, like most of the fans were, you could see Tyreek getting frustrated as hell there in the fourth quarter. Tyreek had a couple of sit routes about 15 yards deep, not the average depth there, but he found the opening in the zone. Tua is sailing the ball and missing him, and he is clearly frustrating, going like this on the field, saying, "Get me the hell off of here." Maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's a signal, but he seemed frustrated. I can tell when somebody's upset. But Tua on the stat sheet, he looked good, but there's still some frustration in that building, and that is a lack of culture. And I will never, ever call for another man's job because these are grown men with families. But the culture is already on ice here in Miami. We're going into week 3. We felt this was like a game they had to win moving forward because guess who you get next week on primetime video on a short week it looks like. Yep, the 18th on Thursday, the Buffalo Bills on the road. That's going to be a loss. I hate to break it to you. 0-3 is how we're starting. You need to win some games off this one. Metro, I've yapped a lot. What did you take away from this matchup?
No, I think you said it pretty well. Look, this game could have got ugly, but I'll give Miami some credit. They start the game off 12-0. I don't know, New England, I guess, missed some extra points there. 12-0. But then they fire back in the second quarter with 2 touchdowns of their own. So I'll give them that. They did not get exposed like they did in week 1. They fought back this game. They had a lead at one point. This game was all over the place for Miami. The interception from Tua, I think he just threw it straight at a guy. I can't quite remember if I'm thinking of that one right. But there's an interception. Yeah, he sailed a ball on Tyreek Hill when he finds the middle of the zone, and it was wide open. He sails it. Bad look for him. They couldn't run the football effectively. This offensive line is absolutely brutal. This is a Dolphins team that, we said it last week. We're going to say it again. Barring some sort of miracle, this team needs to rebuild, reload, rework this roster. This was a better loss than last week. I like that they showed fight a little bit more. I'm glad that Tua played better this week, but they're missing a lot. They're not ready for it. As it goes for the Patriots side of things, look, you got up early. You got, a little bit of some adversity, and you found a way to win the game. A big play by Antonio Gibson on the kick return. And I think the best highlight for the day was Drake May. 19 of 23, 230, and 2 touchdowns. A very efficient day. Was only sacked 3 times, but 7 of 12 on third down. 1 for 1 on fourth down. They had 211 passing yards. I just thought this was a really efficient day for the offense for the Patriots, which is all I could ask for. No turnovers, no major issues on the offensive end. I thought they held the ball nice. I thought the Patriots did a great job of navigating this victory here. Whereas for the Dolphins, I don't know what the future holds. This was so what I said in my reaction video, I'm going to say it again here. These are 2 teams that are trying to figure it out, which is good for the Patriots because they're young. It's not good for the Dolphins because they're a veteran team that have been together for multiple years. For the Patriots side of things, you're going to figure things out. You got a young quarterback, a new head coach, a bunch of new faces, and you get the victory. For the Dolphins, you're trying to figure it out with a team that has been together for 3 to 4 years. So bad look for the Dolphins, good look for the Patriots, and in general, a very fun game, though.
Very fun. New England Patriots, for reference, next week they have the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. I think that's the perfect realization at where you're at in the power rankings. You'll find out how ready your young team is from that brutal, powerful, and gritty matchup against the Steelers. Anything else on this game, Metro? I'm going to move forward, sir.
No, I'm very much looking forward to that Steelers game, though.
It's going to be sweet. Can't wait for that one. Next, we have the San Francisco 49ers going on the road to the New Orleans Saints and pulling out a victory with Mac Jones at the helm at quarterback, 26-21. Mac Jones threw the ball 39 damn times. No fear for this San Fran team. They let it fly. 3 touchdowns on the day. McCaffrey also did well. Rattler looked pretty damn good as well. 25 for 34 and 3 touchdowns overall and no picks. This was a battle back and forth, but in the end, the talent just outright won for the 49ers. Metro, I didn't watch this game with the actual breakdown film to film. With all due respect, I'm not spending my Sunday watching Mac Jones and the Saints go toe-to-toe with Spencer Rattler. But if you watched, sir, what did you see? I just want to be transparent.
Yeah, this is a game that will be remembered for all time. All right, Mac Jones and Spencer Rattler. This is going to be, people are going to remember this for years. People will, I promise. I will forget this next week. Look, if you change the names of Mac Jones and Spencer Rattler to Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, we're saying, man, these boys, they went to town. They were working. These guys had 3 touchdowns each. They were cooking. But then you say, oh, no, it was Mac Jones and Spencer Rattler. You go, oh. Interesting. That's just my reaction to it. This was a fun game. I watched it on Red Zone. I kind of watched some of the highlights afterwards. Of course, all 22 footage didn't drop until a couple hours after, but I haven't seen that yet. But just from a bird's eye view, shout out Mac Jones, shout out Spencer Rattler. They made plays. I love the fire that Rattler played with today. You know, there was some possessions where he was going and he looked comfortable. And look, at the bare minimum, like, Rattler's not their future quarterback. That's the clear and obvious thing here. But he's showing that he can be a capable backup or a capable guy to throw in at a pinch. You know, every once in a while you need a Gardner Minshew or, you know, a Daniel Jones for a few years now. But of course, Danny Dimes looks like a whole different guy. We'll get to him here in a bit. But Kamara, 99 yards, Olave, Jawan Jennings, Christian McCaffrey, they all played well. By the way, and I will say this on the record, that Fred Warner fumble that Alvin Kamara had, terrible call. Alvin Kamara had no possession of that football. Did you see that play?
I did.
Like, I thought that was ridiculous. So Kamara catches it with, like, his head. It's fumbling around, and then Warner hits him. I was like, it's an incompletion. But they called it a fumble. I disagree with the call. I think that was a bad call. But, you know, outside of that, this is a game where you have Mac Jones and Spencer Rattler just balling, and that's always going to be fun. So, shout out to them.
Question, because we just mentioned, like, hey, like, I love how you said replace the names, because that changed my whole perspective on this game. How, like, we have people like the Jacksonville Jaguars who just lost the game against Jake Browning and the Bengals, and T-Law had 2 picks today. He did not look the best. But if you replace him with Mac Jones or Spencer Rattler's performance today for 3 touchdowns and 0 picks, we're feeling great. So do you think there is a path for Spencer Rattler or Mac Jones to ever be a starting QB again, you think? Because they ball out, man. You're not wrong. They absolutely balled out. These defenses are no scrubs.
It's going to be hard for them to erase the stigma that's around them. You know, Mac Jones, first-round bust, has never excelled anywhere. Spencer Rattler, a 5th-round pick. It's going to be hard to... They'd have to, like, Spencer Rattler would have to play so well these next couple weeks and get the Saints to win games for him to get a legit shot. As for Mac Jones, you know, he would have to have a Sam Darnold-like career. So I don't want to say never, because we've seen Geno Smith revive his career. We've seen Sam Darnold revive his career. You know, there's a whole bunch of guys that have done it throughout the course of the NFL. So it could happen. As of this year or next year, I don't think so, but I hope so, obviously. We'll see.
Love it. Thank you for entertaining me there. Let's move on to the Bills and the Jets. In divisional, the Buffalo Bills went on the road 30-10 against the New York Jets. I believe Fields got hurt in this one. Yes, he did. Tyrod Taylor came onto the field. Josh Allen, like you mentioned, he was 148 for 25 passes overall and 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 touchdowns rushing as well. He was a good old-fashioned game manager, kind of like a Mitch Trubisky performance from the past. This dude was just doing his thing out there, having a good time. They did win 30-10 regardless. I got nothing to really say here besides I'm sad Fields is hurt. I thought he was having a really good start to the year. Do you know what the injury is by chance? I'm like, do you know how bad it is?
So Fields played, I think, about 3.5 quarters. I want to say it was a shoulder injury. Or no, maybe it was a concussion. Might have been a concussion, actually. Let me check.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it was a concussion.
Okay. It'd be like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, the thing about Fields, last week was such an impressive start. This week was such an embarrassing start. Um, Last week he went out there and he balled versus a Steelers defense that I think is pretty good. Granted, they didn't play good this week either, but we think they're good. This week, 3 for 11 for 27 yards through I think like 3-ish quarters. Ran the ball somewhat effectively, but boy, it was a rough watch. By the way, I started him in fantasy, -5 points for me.
That's tough. That's on you. That's on you, big dog.
And I had Joe Burrow too. So both my quarterbacks
You're screwed, yeah.
just done. So that was rough. But look, when Tyrod Taylor plays half a quarter and outgains you by significant margin, by basically double, that tells you a lot. As for the the Bills side of things, like you said, Josh Allen was a game manager. He also went out with an injury for like a play or two. I think he might have like broke his nose or something, but he's fine. James Cook made some incredible runs out there, just some incredible plays. He was the offense out there. Josh Allen just made a couple of dimes here and there. They ran the football effectively with James Cook, and defense made a number of plays, and that's how they won this game. I mean, this wasn't necessarily a butt whooping like the Detroit Lions game, but this was just a good old fashioned, I'm better than you, I'll impose my will on you, and we're just going to get out of this game with a win. And in my opinion, this is an impressive win for the Bills. You had such a high last week. This one could have been a trap game where you have this high and then you forget that, I have a game on Sunday, and then you find a way to lose. Like, they didn't do that. They just won, and that's all that matters here. For the Jets, very disappointing. They look underprepared. They were 0 for 11 on third down. They had to go for it 3 times on fourth down. Penalties did go down, which was nice, but you had a fumble loss. Justin Fields looked terrible. Breece Hall couldn't get anything going. Just a rough week for the New York Jets, and a very disappointing week too, because they looked so good in week 1.
Plenty of things to improve on for the Jets. Next week, they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road, I believe. And then we have the Buffalo Bills playing, I mentioned before, the Miami Dolphins, which should be a secured, locked, and loaded win. And then after that, the Saints. Bills are going to start off likely at least 3-1 or 4-0 potentially. A hot start to the season. And the Jets have shit to work on, per usual. But hopefully this young team gets back on track and feeling better in week 3. Let's move on to the Seattle Seahawks go on the road to play the Pittsburgh Steelers and get a big-time win, 31-17. Metro, we did predictions last week, and you actually took the Seahawks over the Steelers. I took the Steelers, and you were correct. This game was a brutal beatdown all the way around, but the game-changing play was the kickoff. That with the new rules, if you kick it into the landing zone between the goal line and the 20, the ball's now live. Before it'd be dead in the end zone, it was live. Johnson, my goodness. Caleb Johnson did not know it was live, the returner. It rolled to the back of the end zone. Seahawks dive on it, 7 points on the board for the squad, and they take away this game moving forward. This was a big-time win for two really competitive defensive teams. Aaron Rodgers struggled. He had 2 picks and 1 touchdown on the day. 203, sacked 3 times overall. And then Sam Darnold also 295, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions as well. Both quarterbacks didn't look like stars, but did move the ball overall. But this team was won with special teams and special players all around. What did you see from this game, Metro? What was your big takeaway?
Yeah, honestly, I completely forgot that play happened, but then you reminded me. It was 17-14 with the Seahawks up, and the Steelers are going to get the ball to try and maybe have a chance to tie the game up or take the lead. Caleb Johnson does something that I've never seen before, and honestly, I was even confused, so I can't really blame him for that.
I don't blame him, yeah.
A huge turn of events there for that game, and it completely changed the game right then and there. The Steelers were up 14-7 at halftime, and then and then it was a tie game there for a little bit, and then next thing you know, Seahawks get the lead. Look, my biggest takeaway is that I'm kind of worried about this Steelers team. I know they're 1-1, and I don't want to overreact, but this defense is really worrying. They were bad last week versus the Jets, and this week they gave up almost 400 yards to a Seahawks offense that the previous week was terrible. I mean, this Seahawks offense in week 1 was bad, and this week, JSN with a huge game with over 100 yards, Cooper Kupp with 90, Kenneth Walker, Mr. Michigan State, 100 rushing yards, and on a day where Darnold had 2 picks, like, they still scored 31 points versus a Steelers defense that's supposed to be good. Now, in fairness, Rodgers did have 2 picks, and you did have the special teams play, but I'm worried about this defense. They are not playing up to the standard that I thought they were, and if this Steelers team wants any chance of winning in the playoffs or even getting to the playoffs, they're going to have to rely on that defense because this offense is just not good enough. They don't have the playmakers, the offensive line. Rodgers, bless his heart, he's 40 years old. He can't run. He can't do anything in the pocket. He just gets sacked over and over again. This time only 3, but there's a lot of pressure on him. He got the ball out quick. I thought Rodgers played fine, but he had the interceptions that were pretty big. I think one of them was, in the back of the end zone. That wasn't really his fault, but yeah, I don't know. The Steelers defense has to get it together. If they want to win games, they have to play better. For the Seahawks, though, it's a huge, huge win. You had a stinker in week 1. The offense wakes back up. JSN looks incredible, and getting Kenneth Walker going was great. By the way, Kenneth Walker, 13 carries for 105, 8.1 yards per carry. Zach Charbonnet, 15 carries for 10 yards, 0.75 yards per carry. Just a crazy, I don't know the word there, but just a crazy duo. But great game,
I'd say
fun
one's
game.
better. One's a little bit better, I'd say, Metro.
Well, to be fair, last week Charbonnet outplayed Walker, so we'll see.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Go UCLA Bruins.
But yeah, I think you summarized it perfect, man. Question for you, because I like to entertain you with stupid and hypotheticals here.
Okay.
When it comes to just winning games, do you feel better with a team? They kind of flip-flopped. The Steelers looked good in week 1, not so damn good in week 2, but fine, but on the downtrend. Or kind of like the Dolphins as the competitor, looked like ass in week 1, but in week 2 was really competitive. Would you rather be the Steelers in week 3 moving forward to make the playoffs, or the Dolphins moving forward to make the playoffs?
Oh, Steelers.
Steelers?
Yeah, they still won in week 1. Dolphins have showed zero life at all.
Even this week, where they went one possession to Patriots?
You lost the Patriots.
Okay.
Patriots are a
making
good
sure.
team, but Pittsburgh has a formula that could work. It just needs time, and they need the defense to figure their act together. They have the pieces. They just got to play better. Miami, they got all sorts of issues.
Money, time, things we wish we could always have more of. Let's move forward to the Ravens versus the Browns. Ravens win at home 41-17. Joe Flacco, revenge game, of course. He was 199, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked twice. Even had 8 rushing yards. I see you, Joe, making big plays out there. Lamar Jackson had 4, count them up, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, 225 through the air, and then also a nice 13 yards on the ground. Metro, this is just a beatdown, man. I got nothing else to say. One team is in its prime. One team is rebuilding for the past 20 years, but they are on their way. Do you have any takeaways? Because I really don't have much to say. This is just one divisional team getting after the other one.
Yeah, I think it took the Ravens a little bit to get going here. They were only up 17-10 heading into the fourth, and then they scored 21 in the fourth. So they got things rolling in the second half. It just took them a little bit. Derrick Henry had a really quiet day, 11 carries, 23 yards, had a fumble, but he recovered it. I thought Lamar made the necessary plays. He had a nice play to DeAndre Hopkins. He made some plays. My biggest takeaway for the Browns, they got Quinshot Judkins back. He had 10 carries for 61 yards. That's going to be big for them moving forward because he's clearly their best running back. This Browns team's not good offensively nor defensively. They have a lot of work to do these next 2 years with all their draft picks. And for Baltimore, like you said, they're just a better team. Took them a little bit to get going. Not too worried about it. They just were going through the motions of a really disappointing week 1. And again, this was a trap game, kind of like the Jets-Bills game. This is a bit of a trap one here where you have this super high and then super low, and now you're heading to this week where you might overlook a bad team, but you don't. You take care of business. You dominate the scoreboard. So shout out Lamar, shout out the Ravens. They get the win.
Biggest guy I want to shout out here today. Biggest performance on defense, Roquan Smith, number 0, had 15 tackles, 3 TFLs, 2 QB hits, and a touchdown return on the day on defense. That was the moment in the fourth quarter where, like you mentioned, they scored 21 points. Then he got this thing going, got the juices flowing. That's when the Ravens team put the accelerator on the Browns team. Anything else, Metro, on this matchup?
No, it's a good divisional win for the Ravens. Just keep stacking them up.
Beautiful. Let's move forward to a very interesting ending. We had the Denver Broncos. Go ahead.
Sorry, my last little point here. AFC North kind of sucks. That's all.
Well, when Joe's out for 3 weeks, it really kills the whole edge to it.
Exactly. It was like, we have Burrow, Rodgers, Lamar. It's just Lamar. Rodgers is okay, I guess. He had a good week 1.
It's just Lamar here at this point, but yeah, very good call out right there. This game, man. Denver Broncos go on the road to play the Indianapolis Colts. Colts win in a crazy ending, 29-28. To just cut to that real quick, because we got to talk about the elephant in the room. It was a game-winning kick from 60 yards out. They hit the long snapper, and it moves it forward 15 yards on the last play of the game. They missed it the first time, then they hit the 45-yarder, walk off. Colts mascot's going crazy. I don't know his name, but he's hilarious, throwing his stomach around. Awesome win for Indiana Jones and the boys. Performances, Bo Nix had 206, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. And then Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, 316 yards, 1 touchdown through the air, 1 on the ground, moved the ball effectively, and they're protecting him as well. That's why he's been shining so much. Jonathan Taylor, 165 on 25 carries, and also 50 yards through the air and a touchdown there as well. Over 200 all-purpose yards for Jonathan all day long. Troy Franklin had a massive day for the Broncos, along with Bo Nix throwing him the ball. These teams both played head-to-head really well. Pat Surtain to go down. I hope he's doing well and recovers quickly. But this just shows we've learned so much, Metro, that like we had the kick through the back of the end zone with the Steelers. That was costly to them. Rules, flags, and penalties are game-changing early in the season because people forget how this shit works. They forget the calls, the plays. They forget discipline because it's just fresh to the season, and that cost people games literally within 30 seconds like this one did. Sean Payton looked so mad, Metro. I can't describe to you the fury in this man's eyes, but I've said a lot. That was my making of this game. What was yours?
Yeah, a massive win for the Colts, man. This Colts team looks good. And, week 1, we were all like, oh, was it a fluke? Was it a fluke? No. This dude, Daniel Jones, kind of balling, man. He's kind of balling, making me look really stupid. Really stupid. Team stats.
Hey, you picked him this week, though. You picked the Colts. I picked the Denver Broncos.
I did.
Yeah,
but
I
also said that Daniel Jones should be benched and never start another game of his career. So I got to apologize.
Why'd you say that? That's messed up, dog.
Well, I've definitely critiqued Daniel Jones pretty hard in his career, but I can't talk. He just diced up the Broncos defense for nearly 500 total yards. Give credit to Jonathan Taylor. He really opened up in the ground game. But man, Daniel Jones, dude. I'm not saying he's going to win a Super Bowl this year, but he's on pace for a Pro Bowl, man. He's on pace for a Pro Bowl nod, and he's making Anthony Richardson sweat quite a bit. Richardson is panicking right now. He's like, I'm never getting another job here. Look, for the Broncos, you lose the game, but you probably should have won. If you don't jump on the long snapper, you win the game. So not the end of the world. Honestly, this is one of those games where I don't really have much to talk about here because the Colts played great. The Broncos played great. Broncos defense will play better in the future. They gave up 29. They gave up a ton of yards. They can play better. They are a better team. Need to get some turnovers. Maybe penalties for the Colts should be cleaned up. I don't really have much to say here other than Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren. The amount of weapons, by the way, in this Colts offense is awesome. They have a great offensive line, great running back. Tyler Warren looks incredible to start off his young career. You got Pierce, you got Downs, you got Pittman, you got A.D. Mitchell, you got Mo Alley Cox. I mean, there's so many guys in this offense. And then you can dump it off to Jonathan Taylor, too. I mean, this is just he's in a great spot here to be successful. And he went up against what I think is the best defense in the NFL, and he did his thing. So, man, I'm very happy for the Colts. They look really good. As for the Broncos, look, you lose the game, but you probably should have won, so it's okay.
This is kind of the perfect NFL game of this week. Like you said, both teams played exceptional, really, really well. But someone has to win, somebody has to lose. This just shows that this is a game of inches. Literally, if you are a foot over and you don't hit the long snapper, win for the Broncos. But since you touched them, it's going to be a win here for the Colts. Awesome NFL performance. Games like this, Metro, made Week 2 so great. This week has been a blast. Anything else you have on this matchup before we go to our next one?
No, let's hop into the next one.
Let's do this, man. Next one, we have the Panthers going on the road to play the Cardinals. Cardinals win in kind of a nail-biter. Didn't feel like it at first, 27-22. Now, must mention, a lot of these stats for Bryce were in garbage time, but I do want to call out. I'm going to break them down and build them back up. He looked rough in the beginning with the pick and pretty much no touchdowns, but over time, he worked his way back his team back into this game and caught his groove. 35 for 55 passes. He was letting it fly to come back. 328, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 3 sacks on the day for him. They did lose. Kyler Murray had 220, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. So pretty lackluster over there. James Conner had a fine day. Kyler also was tilting it on the ground as well. Trey McBride looks fantastic. Tedero looked fantastic. But overall, what I made from this game, Bryce Young is showing resilience and a work ethic to get better and not getting phased early in the game when he could have just shut down. When he was struggling early in the game, he could have been like, shit, here we go. It's just like last season all over again. I'm going to get benched for Andy, but he picked it up. He figured it out. He almost got this on the game-winning drive for this one, but did not quite pull it out. That was my making of this, Metro. What was yours?
Yeah, I think you said it pretty well. Bad start. First series, fumble, strip sack for touchdown. Second series, ball gets, I think, tipped up in the air. It's an interception. About as poor of a start you can have for a young quarterback. Back-to-back turnovers, back-to-back poor drives. Good thing for him. He responded well. It took him a little bit to get going. I mean, he 3 points in the first half, but he got going there in the third a little bit, got going again in the fourth. And you mentioned it. They had a chance to go down there and win the game. I don't ever want to see Bryce throw the ball 55 times. I'll say that. Let's never do that again. I know it probably wasn't a part of the game plan. It just sort of happened, but let's give Chuba Hubbard more opportunities. Rico Dowell. One of my other big takeaways, non-related to Bryce Young, Xavier Legette, he's not a good player. He's just not a good player. Ted McMillan is clearly their go-to guy. I think Hunter Renfrow has developed to be that wide receiver too. Shout out to him. But they got to figure out who that third wide receiver is because I don't think right now it's Xavier Legette. He just doesn't look like the guy. You have some tight ends here who can get some work in the passing game, but Legette, he just doesn't look like an NFL receiver right now. So unless they can really develop him, they got work to do. But shout out to the defense. We're keeping it close. I thought Bryce looked better in the second half. Not perfect, but better. And for the Cardinals side of things, this game felt kind of similar in some ways to last week where you're going up against a bad team and you're just going to win because you're more talented than them. But in both games, the opposing team had a chance to go down and either win or tie the game, and the Cardinals get a stand defensively. So if they do this versus a good team, they're going to lose, but they got to play better. They only had 283 total yards. They got to give the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. more. Only 2 catches for 27 yards. It's the Brian Thomas Jr. conversation all over again. He's got to get 5 or 6 receptions bare minimum. That's just what I want to see. So I don't know. This is a very weird game, if I'm being honest with you, where I don't know how to feel about either one of these teams. For Carolina, I don't feel great about them, but Bryce showed me hope. For Arizona, they showed me hope in the first half, but then they were terrible in the second half, so I don't really know how to feel about either one of these teams right now.
This one was kind of yucky overall, but at the end of the day, if you're the Cardinals, you got out with a win. You're now 2-0 moving forward. It's hard to complain and ask for more besides that. Like you said, and then for the Panthers, Bryce Young got better. He looked good. And next week they have, let's take a look, they go to play the Falcons, a team that just secured a win in Sunday Night Football. So that should be a very good one moving forward. Anything else on this weird game, Metro, before we go to our final primetime game at this 3 p.m. slate?
No, but I do want to say I think Bryce Young needs to start to turn it up. He's got to continue to build off of this and play better next week.
Let's ride to our final 3 p.m. game. We have the Philadelphia Eagles going on the road to Arrowhead to play the Kansas City Chiefs. They win this game by 3 points, 20-17. Jalen Hurts was 15. This is the kind of shit, man. Jalen Hurts was 15 for 22, 101, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. Jalen Hurts is a fantastic fantastic is a strong word. He's a good game manager quarterback, but when he has weeks like this, you're like, what is going on?
You're going to get some heat for that one.
Hey, listen, he's had fantastic Super Bowl performances. He's gotten 3-4 touchdowns. But just, I get confused on why he doesn't show up in games like this. It is what it is, man. I think he's a good quarterback, and I'd rather have him than most quarterbacks in the league. But, he just 0 for 0. 100 yards, let's call it a buck, okay? It was just a rough week. It's okay. We have people like Saquon Barkley to run at 88 yards. We have people like Devontae Smith to get open on some great routes for 53 yards as well. Patrick Mahomes, 187, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also had 66 on the ground and a touchdown there as well. Overall, Kelsey looked pretty good in this game. Tyquan Thornton on a huge post route to get them back in this matchup. And then Hollywood Brown contributing as well. Metro, what was your overall analysis? And I know I was dogging on Jalen Hurts. When he put a ball on the ground, he had a fumble. He recovered it, though. Put a ball on the ground, didn't throw a touchdown, no picks, but was overall a good, I'm going to say one more time, game manager this game specifically. What were your thoughts and takeaways during this game? They got the win, so that's all that matters.
It was a very unimpressive day for both offenses. Both defenses showed up for work today. Both offenses did not. I have concerns for both these teams. We'll start off with the Chiefs side of things. They have no ground game. None whatsoever. Now, I don't want to overreact too hard because they were going up against a good Eagles defense that had Jalen Carter in the game, so I don't want to overreact, but Kareem Hunt, 8 for 31. Isaiah Pacheco, 10 for 22. Brashard Smith, 1 for 2. Mahomes was their leading rusher with 7 carries for 66 yards. They just don't have a good running back on roster right now. The offensive line is good enough, but they don't have a good runner. And it's hard to judge this passing game when there's no Rice or Worthy, so I don't want to be too hard on them, but I think they're going to be asking a lot from Rashee Rice to keep this offense moving. As of today, I know it's early. They're 0-2. I think they'll go on a stretch here where they win a lot of games, but right now I think the Chiefs they're not one of my Super Bowl contenders right now, just after 2 weeks. I don't think they're up there right now, unless Rice really comes in and helps them. For the Eagles side of things, they can run the ball. They can lean on that offensive line. The passing game has been very mid these past 2 weeks, very mid. This week, only 100 yards for Jalen Hurts passing the football. Last week versus Dallas, only 152. A.J. Brown had like 1 catch last week. This week he has a couple catches, but only for 27 yards. Smitty got a little bit more production here, but a lot of it came off of 1 play. There is just not much of a passing attack here. I get it, you can rely on this rushing game, but when you go up against a more potent offense like Buffalo, Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, I don't know if the Eagles can keep up with them passing the football wise right now. Maybe they're holding it back a little bit, but I'm a little worried about this offense here. I'm not worried about the defense so much. The defense for the Eagles wasn't really tested too heavily on this one because they were going up against a poor Chiefs offense, but I don't know. I hate to kind of like overreact to a week 2 game, but I don't feel really good about either one of these teams where they're currently positioned. They're clearly extremely talented, and they're both clearly playoff contenders, but I kind of like what I've seen better from Buffalo, Baltimore, Green Bay. I mean, I like what I saw from Detroit this past week, so I don't know. I'm a little concerned.
Do you personally feel like the Packers are the best team in the NFC right now after seeing the Eagles the past 2 weeks?
Yeah. I said it earlier, but I think the Packers are the best team in the NFC. I guess I'd probably put Philly number 2. I can't think of... If I were to do like a power rankings, Philly would be down to like number 4 right now. I'd have Buffalo. I'd still have Baltimore. I definitely would have...
Bad team.
Yeah, Baltimore, terrible. They're 1-1. They suck.
Yeah.
I would also have the Green Bay Packers too. If the Lions were more competitive in week 1, they might be my number 4, but they weren't, so I can't put them there. But as for the Chiefs, I like the Chargers more than them right now. Obviously, they won in week 1, but the Chargers look better.
I absolutely love it. Mentioning the Philadelphia Eagles passing attack, next week they have the Rams, not an easy defense, and following them they have the Bucs and the Broncos. 3 really good teams moving forward. We will find out what the Eagles are made of. If they win all these games, man, maybe it doesn't matter what the passing attack is. They're just going to continue to go and kick some ass. But keep a watch out for their schedule. And then for the Chiefs, we're 0-2. This is not happening in a minute, it feels like. They have the Giants next week, which should be a pretty good rebound game on NBC Sunday Night Football. Weird Sunday night matchup, but I'll take it all day long. And then finally, we have the Ravens following them, an awesome matchup at 3 p.m. This game, great Super Bowl rematch. Eagles take it away. Any more thoughts, Metro?
Yeah, I want to expand on the Chiefs' schedule. We'll get to know this Chiefs team quite well here in a few weeks. Ravens in 2 weeks, Lions in 4 weeks, Commanders in 6 weeks, Bills in 7 weeks, Broncos in 8 weeks. Then you got the Colts, Cowboys, Texans, and Chargers. So we're gonna know who this who this Chiefs team is here in just a few weeks.
Looking forward to it. I love when they're competitive, and I hope they stay in this rally as they always do. Let's go to our Sunday night football game. We have the Atlanta Falcons going on the road to Minneapolis to play in Minnesota against the Minnesota Vikings. The Falcons stun the Vikings on the road, 22-6 points. And let's just open the conversation. JJ in week 1 looked sick. He looked exciting. The team rallied around him. I don't think anything changed there. They still believe in their guy. But he had a rough game. He had a rookie-like game, and that's okay. He put 3 fumbles on the ground and lost one of them. He had 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, moved the ball for 158, got sacked, though, 6 times. What you saw in this Atlanta game was their first-round picks getting after the damn quarterback. Jalen Walker had a sack, as well as James Pierce Jr. These guys were moving quickly all over the field. So, Metro, that was my takeaway. Just their pass rush got an attack and affected J.J. McCarthy, and he could not rebound, which no wonders. He's a rookie. Technically, he's a rookie. But this is kind of what we predicted. Both we chose the Falcons last week in our predictions. So, wow, we look kind of smart here. But what are your thoughts, Metro? What are your main takeaways?
Yeah, I kind of came into this game expecting a McCarthy letdown because I felt like last week was so good in the fourth quarter that we all kind of forgot he was pretty bad for 3 or 2.5 or so. So I was more confident in Michael Penix, but even Penix didn't play all that incredible. Bijan had a great game, 22 carries for 143. They didn't really have to worry too much about passing the football. 4 turnovers on the day. McCarthy puts the ball on the turf too often, and the 2 interceptions, and late in the game, you had I just watched it, the kickoff with like 28 seconds left. That one happened. So, yeah, rough game here for Vikings. A poor opening game in their building. Just, for everything that went well in week 1, it just kind of fell apart in week 2. They just didn't have that magic late in the game to get back in it. You got to go back to the drawing board if you're McCarthy. This is one of those games where a lot of pressure on him with getting the edge rushers going for Atlanta. They have some good players in the defensive end, a veteran safety, some good corners. Jefferson, I would like to see him get more involved. I don't think Addison played in this game, so that is a big issue. Now, one thing I want to note, Christian Darrisaw did not play on this game. So I think once Darrisaw comes back, the offensive line will play better, at least I hope. Very disappointing performance here from Minnesota. They definitely took a step back today. As for the Atlanta Falcons, it's good to get Bijan going because he struggled in week 1. Same with Algier. He got going. Thought Penix played fine. He played like a game manager today. So, all in all, if we're being honest with each other, probably the least fun game of the week so far. Maybe bad. Besides the blowouts with Browns, Ravens, Jets, Bills. I mean, with all the other games though, in all honesty, I think I would have rather watched Mac Jones and Spencer Rattler on primetime than Penix and JJ. But regardless, though, huge win for the Falcons. Get back to that 1-1, and they played well in week 1. They played great in this one. They look like a really good and competent team.
Moving forward for Minnesota with a great roster and a young quarterback, they play the Bengals with no Joe Burrow. That's a get-right game for sure. They play the Steelers, whose defenses look pretty suspect throughout the season, and then the Browns. So I can't think of a better 3-game slate to get your quarterback right, get him confident again moving forward into the season. Following that, guess what, Metro? Welcome to the show. Eagles, Chargers, Lions. A really tough, not road,
Ravens.
And Ravens. Yep. Oh, my God. 4 back-to-back.
And Packers like the next following week. Brutal.
So what we're seeing here is, JJ, you got 3 weeks to get right, and I'm sure you will because you're a very good quarterback and you got a lot of potential as a young player. But after that, welcome to the NFL. It's going to be a tough sledding season down the line. And then for the Falcons at 1-1, second in the NFC South, they got the Panthers next week. That is a big game. You can put your staple in this division and get yourself to the top of that cream of the crop. And then you got the Commanders and the Bills. 2 big-time games. What are you really made of, Atlanta Falcons? Let's find out against those 2 heavyweight contenders in the NFL. Anything else on this game, Metro? Like you said, kind of lackadaisical. 0 quarterback throws for touchdowns, but also you had like Mac Jones and Rattler going for 6 apiece. So what were your thoughts here? Anything else?
No, look, it was not the showcase of young quarterback talent that we thought it was going to be. Doesn't mean these guys suck. Doesn't mean these teams are anything bad. These are good, competent teams that are well coached, and there's a lot more that you can get from these guys. So we'll see how it goes in the future. There's some tough tests in the future for both these teams that they have to get right for. And I feel good about both these teams.
Cool. Metro, we have Monday, but it's not Monday. Anything you want to say there?
No. Let me pull up the games here. We have Tampa Bay and Houston. Huge game there. Houston needs a get-right game. We'll see if they can pick it back up. We split. I have Tampa Bay winning that game. Cade has Houston winning. Then we have the Chargers and Las Vegas. By the way, like a 9 o'clock game. I'm gonna be up at like midnight.
I'll be asleep, bro.
I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna be very happy. But we got Chargers, Raiders. We both got Chargers.
There you go. Love to see it. Those games will be fun, like Metro mentioned. Bucks and Texans will be huge for those teams in their playoff respective rights. All right, guys, those were our recaps and hot takes of this week. Let us know your hot takes. We post every Sunday at about noon. Comment when we post in our, not the description, but you can comment here. You can comment on that post when we post in our YouTube community post. Let us know your hot takes. We'll talk about them on the channel, and we would love to hear your thoughts. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like. It helps the algorithm out a ton. Thank you very much. If you're new, please subscribe. Metro, get us out of here, sir.
Thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for the view. Thank you guys for the like.
500, dude.
And subscribe. Yes, 500 subscribers.
Let's go.
We appreciate you guys. We're on the road to 1,000. Hopefully we'll be there by end of season. We're grinding. We're working. And peace out.